Welcome to Berlin, Germany. It's the last day of European Masters Summer 2020, and it's time for the finals. My name is Kulina, and I'm joined by Ox and Troublings. It's finals day, and there's a lot of weight on the shoulders of AJO Rogue, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think for both teams, a lot of weight. There's a long grind to get here. There's been the whole seasons for 12 different ERLs. There's been the whole E-Masters overall for a month, and it all comes down to this one series.
It all comes down to basically the Polska Górom, or the duck region, as we analysts like to call it.
Well, that's what the analysts do. It's not what I do. But if you're new and just joining us, the event started with 28 teams in the playing stage, and now we only have 2 teams remaining. Yesterday, we said goodbye to the Prime League powerhouse Mousesports and the reigning champions from Spring, LDLC. The 2 squads left standing are ADC Rogue and Team GamerLegion. What were a few of the, well, I would say stand-up moments from yesterday for you, Ox? Well, I'm sorry, actually. It's the first go for Trouble here.
That's all right. I can let him, but I'm not going to let you have GamerLegion because I know what you're going to say later. So for me, it would have to be the individual talent coming out from the DACH region with GamerLegion playing yesterday. Nite absolutely popped off in the entire series, and on the last game, when everything was on the line, he proved why Aurelia had been banned constantly against him the entire tournament. He was multiple levels above his opponent. He was multiple levels above his opponent mid laner, and he actually popped off. Not just him, the entire of the crew, but specifically Nite.
We want to talk about mid laners. Czekolad in this game honestly had a rough start. We saw him get solo killed level 2 by a cast-in, but Rogue's ability to play around their carries bounced back, and you can see in this team fight on the Silas, just able to pick out key targets and do so much for the team, resulting in a pentakill of all things in the semi-final stage. And it doesn't stop here. There's still more on top of this. The 2 big carries for Go Rogue, Czekolad and Woolite answered back in game 2, getting a quadra kill on the Aphelios. And you can see that again here, just huge performance.
What I really like about a Go Rogue is that you can see there's communication constantly between the members. Woolite had the perfect guns for this fight. He calls it in, and we said even if Czekolad goes down, Woolite is there to pick up the damage if he needs to do it, and he actually left this fight without even looking at the bodies left behind him.
Yeah, because if you missed the game yesterday, like, at first, it looked like Mousesports was just going to take it, and all of a sudden Rogue just came back. Like, they steamrolled at one point. It was insane. We even talked to Zanzarah, the jungler, for Rogue, and he said, like, yeah, we knew we're just going to scale. We're going to scale. So both teams, they had a long road to become the EU Masters Summer 2020 finalists. Let's focus in on our top 2. Starting with Team GamerLegion once again. The mad scientists, one would say.
I think they're the fan favorites for a reason. People love what these guys are doing. These guys are like a fairy tale. These guys are the witches, and they have a witch's pot of drafts.
So what do you mean with a witch pot?
So basically, if you've like watched a fairy tale where there's a witch and there's a big cauldron in front of her, she usually puts in whatever she wants, all kinds of potions, and what comes out in the end is something extremely powerful. And this is what makes GamerLegion so good. Their drafts are so powerful because they're unpredictable. They play all these sort of off-meta picks that you wouldn't see any other team go towards that, and they can flex them throughout all 5 lanes.
And I mean, I do agree that the picks are different to every other team, but my question mark when you say unpredictable is we've seen them for the whole split. We've seen them for a month of EU Masters, and I'm kind of thinking that the teams are getting a read on them. You know, they've been playing the Mage's bot lane, but they've been doing that consistently. They've been playing carry junglers for Rabble and essentially Ornn for phones. I think by this point, a Go Rogue should know what they're dealing with.
They should know what they're dealing with, but should they? This is what I really like about GamerLegion, the fact that you constantly have that question mark ping at the back of your head of, yeah, sure, we see the Vel'Koz, we know it's most likely going to be Hjarnan. Nite has picked it also, so you don't necessarily know. And what is really important for them, for the DACH region specifically, is that they've left behind the SLO, they've eliminated them, they've left behind the last LFL team that there was, LDLC, the reigning champions, and now they're going, if they win this, they're going to even out the titles for the DACH region, for the LFL and the SLO.
Shame they won't, though. Shame they won't win, because realistically...
Okay.
I think a Go Rogue come in as hard favourites. I think we saw their performance yesterday against Mouse, and Mouse are a hard team for a lot of the rosters we've had to deal with. And we saw their really aggression, but Rogue were unwavering. It's their ability to play cross-map when they're challenged, their ability to wait until their spikes and then set up their critical carries. Woolite and Czekolad have been stellar, but the supporting pieces to gel them together have been absolutely massive for this roster. And I think a big one to highlight is Trymbi in the support role and his pairing with Zanzarah. These two as a unit do so much, and then when it gets to these team fight moments, you can see the result of that.
So I do really like what you highlighted, because these guys, when it comes to coordination and communication, they are top-notch. They play the front-to-back team fights, they play the textbook, if you will, League of Legends, with their carries, the initiators, and their tanks. But this is too predictable. You know where they're gonna go, you know exactly what they're gonna play. And if there's a team that completely tears apart textbook teams, that would have to be GamerLegion. Saying that though, I really just want to see in a best of 5 how clean is a Go Rogue in their own game.
It's a great question. I think there's another question I'd like to have answered today. It's the third time the Polish region is going to be in the final, and the question is third time the charm? Because the Ultraliga, although they are one of the best regions, maybe the best regions after today, they haven't won a single European Masters title yet. So if it's going to happen, it should happen today, and if it's a team that's able to do it, it might be Rogue. The only thing they have to improve is to get that trophy, because yeah, it's always been finals, and it's been rough for all the Polish fans. Man, this is their reward. Earlier today, I got the chance to talk with Ego Rogue's coach ahead of our series, and here's what he had to say. Hey Sharks, thanks for joining us. Let's talk a bit about the prep for today's series and how the roster's feeling going to the last best of 5. I mean, let's be fair, Ultraliga has yet to win a EU Masters title. Does that add any pressure to the players?
I wouldn't say there is any pressure, since nobody really put us as first place or second place coming into the tournament. And since us and GamerLegion, we were in the same group, and they were our consistent scrim partners throughout the season. I think we got like 15 games against them during regular season and scrims. So there are no surprises for us, right? Like, we know that they're crazy. We know that there will be fun picks all around. We know that their series will be a banger. We know that it's impossible to avoid Fiesta against GamerLegion. So today is going to be a lot of kills, bloodbaths, cool team fights, skirmishes, crazy rotations. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you tune in today at 6 p.m., you'll see it on stream.
So a big surprise for the fans, if I hear that correctly. So Rogue has been, well, a factory of talent. Some moving to the LSC. What do you think makes the organization such a breeding ground for success?
I would say it comes from fundamentals of organization, from the higher upper management, from Fly, Anna, from the coaches in LSE. And it's mostly about what people does organization choose to build the rosters and what rosters they choose. I think currently, both in a previous roster in the Ultraliga, the ones that got promoted later to LSE, players like Inspired, Larsen, Finn, they had good coaches who know how to work with rookies. They had really clear structure. And same here. I think the rosters that we built here, both in Spring Greens, Summer Split, was pretty clear how we wanted to evolve the team, how we wanted to build the team. We have a pillar player like Zanzarah, the guy who is experienced and who can teach rookies a lot of fundamental stuff, how to properly set up the map, how to properly set up teamfights. And we have a lot of young and promising players with high ranking in solo queue. For example, our support Trymbi, he has like 3 accounts, or had like 3 accounts above 1k LP in Challenger like a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure if he is still at, has all of them above 1k. And I think we're just like proper rosters and coaching stuff. That's how you get the teams to, to get ready to LSE. For example, personally, I consider it my biggest strength always is just like working with rookies and helping them to get to LSE. And I think so far we had an amazing year with the team.
Yeah, very short there, because you talked about these promising players. Like, if you had to name one player from your current roster, who's going to make it to the LSE, for example?
It's impossible to name one. I can tell you, I would name every single one of them. I think each single player has clear strengths that any LSE team could use if you build a roster around this player. I think Czekolad can be a great fit to any team. Trymbi can be a great fit to any team. Woolite, despite all the memes on Reddit, like people are just memeing just to, say something from 2015. Woolite is still great and he can still outperform many crazy young AD carries that are there in LSE. Zanzarah is a great pillar in the team and like carry junglers like Selfmade or Inspired memeing him sometimes. I'm sure that there are clear points in the games that Zanzarah is way better at this point than they are. And Matthias has been smurfing the entire year. Szygenda was smurfing the entire year. So I have no doubt that every single player with a proper structure and proper roster can showcase their skills in LSE team.
Thank you, Sharks. Good luck with this series and maybe with the trophy next time.
Thank you.
talking about the rookies, I think that's something that really stuck to me, is him talking about the rookies, because rookies are a really, well, I would say a keyword for European Masters coming into the LEC.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many make that transition and be able to just have a huge impact. I think the big ones for me were the likes of Kai'Sa, Shadow, who are able to go to the highest level in Europe and then compete and keep challenging. I think the point he made about the support structure and facilitating them is a massive thing as well, because these players have an insane amount of potential. The fact that they're this far in this tournament and competing with some huge veterans is showing that, but they just need that development, the next step. So I really hope that a lot of the players we're going to see today will get that shot to go into the LEC.
Yeah, Trouble, you also said something. The CEO is like, who's going to pick up this team?
It was like, sure, because we had the previous Rogue roster moving up from the EU Masters into the main LEC stage. We saw them taking first place this year in the regular split. And this team looks pretty much ready, I'm going to be honest. Every single piece falls in together. Communication check, skill check, composition check. They have everything they need to move up.
Yeah, speaking of moving up, I want to move on now, actually. I want to talk about that bot lane. No, not really want to move up. I want to move forward. Talking about the bot lane. I mean, bot lane is Battle of the Boomers, if I have to believe Reddit. That was actually a great one. Hjarnan and Woolite. I'm sure a lot of people already heard those names before.
These guys met 5 years ago in the EU LCS back then. They were playing for H2K, Hjarnan, and Rokat for Woolite. This is when they met. Hjarnan took both of the games that these two guys met, so he has the 2-all from back then. But honestly, if you look at their stats, these guys are built for what they're doing. You see Woolite, 35.7% damage dealt off his team. You see Hjarnan, 28.8. It doesn't matter what they play or how they play it, they fulfill the role they've been put in. They are the carries. Now, not so much AD carries for Hjarnan, because out of the 7 unique champions he has played, only one of them has been a traditional ADC, whilst for Woolite, he goes mostly for the more traditional, if you will, with Ezreal being his best. He has 6 games on him, only lost 1.
Yeah, on the side of GamerLegion, though, I want to talk a bit about Rabble.
Yeah.
Like, Rabble has been showing up, like, big, I would say, even yesterday. Like, he was one of the main carries for that team.
Yeah, I think Rabble's statements is he views jungle as, especially in the current meta when it's very farm heavy and you can get a massive lead without that catch-up XP, he sees it as a meta you can make a jungle kingdom. And he has done that. I mean, I saw his match against Llama Bear, playing Kindred into Nidalee and being 5 levels up should never happen. It's just not how the matchup's supposed to go. But he finds these windows, and with smart pathing and invades, he manages to manipulate to a massive advantage. Now, that sounds like it's going to be difficult for Zanzarah, but I think the big turning point for Rogue is Trymbi. I look at how he plays, and it's not just his individual play, which is stellar, but his ability to pair up with Zanzarah when he goes for these aggressive plays, these plays around mid, and it means it's no longer sort of that 1v1 in the jungle, it's now a 2-man team, and I think that's what Rabble needs to overcome if he's going to beat out Rogue.
And I'd like to touch a little bit, because I love the Trymbi point, because we always see him moving up with Zanzarah, and then Woolite stays alone all the time in the bot lane. In the graph previously, we see that at 15, he has 500 gold up over any opponent, and he stays alone for the majority of the time in the lane. So magically, this guy manages to move through the whole game, completely invisible, and then he comes back as a mini-boss with 4 items.
Very short, because we are just moments away from the first game of our final best of 5. Any prediction on this series? Because GamerLegion has won the coin toss, and they have chosen blue side for game 1.
Do you want to go or shall I go?
You can take this one.
All right, so I'm just going to go GamerLegion 3-2. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a
full 5 games?
Full 5 games. I don't think it's going to be necessarily an easy game for any of these two teams. I think they've gone toe-to-toe with any opponent so far, so I don't see why this would be different. The only reason that I'm going for GamerLegion is because it's blue side, and any opponent on red is forced to ban the Heimerdinger, the Ziggs, and potentially the Hecarim, so they lose all these S-tier bans that they would have thrown into any other team.
And I agree that's problematic, but I feel like despite that, despite the fact that we'll undoubtedly see something spicy from GamerLegion, I think that works in a best of 1. Works in a best of 3, but this is a best of 5, and I think the consistent play from a Go Rogue around their carries and around the map is going to carry them to a 3-1.
We'll have to see if that will be true. The final series of European Masters Summer 2020 is ready to begin. The Prime League versus the Ultra League. Penguin, Foxdrop, and Cadril are standing by to bring you all the action.
Thank you very much, Coolan. And the desk I am joined by two of the finest gentlemen in League of Legends. Foxdrop to my right, and to my further right is going to be Kog'Maw. And I'm going to jump straight into this matchup. Looking at these two teams, expectations coming into this series, Foxy.
Oh, me, I want to focus on Rogue. I think I might be on more Orcs' side of the table there. He was picking Rogue over GL. I think they're just, it's the Ultra League's time. Rogue has been really, really solid so far in the tournament. The team fighting especially has been absolutely stellar, and I just can't wait to get on the Rift.
Rogue's boring. Let's talk about GL, dude. The mad scientist, the AP bots, dude. Like, maybe it doesn't work in best ones, maybe it doesn't best of threes, but I think in best of fives you can pull out so many crazy picks, and we're already getting into draft. I think it's going to be an absolute, I think the draft's going to be crazy from GL. I think they're going to pull out some random stuff. The Vel'Koz was working, the Graves, so hopefully they go with what works for me.
Are they so unpredictable that they're predictable, though? Because we had a thing about Ox there as well. You know, they go for that mid kind of AD. They look to try and get the mage bot lane. What are you expecting to see here, Kog'Maw, from the, both sides now, as GamerLegion have opted for the blue?
I'm expecting a Thresh ban, yeah, and a Kali ban from GL. They could throw a target ban as well, and Rogue. I'm looking at something like an Ornn, Heimerdinger, Ziggs, these kind of bans which were banned away from LDLC yesterday. There's the Akali, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ziggs Ornn coming from the side of Aegor Rogue. GL really like the first pick Ornn. Hecarim ban. Rabble could be a Hecarim player. I think he's probably played throughout this tournament. It's a really strong champ. But Zanzarah, Sett, Skarner, these are the two champs that you're looking at for Zanzarah. I think they could invest a ban in it. There it is. And then what Mouse did yesterday is they banned the Skarner and they first picked the Sett. I'm not sure if that's something GamerLegion want to do. They could have Visdom on the Sett if they do first pick it. But yeah, I think Zanzarah will definitely pick it up, but the first pick one.
And there is Sion, and this does leave open the Ziggs that we see banned a lot as well against GamerLegion that has made it through. And I don't think Rogue plays Ziggs, to be honest. It's kind of just like a Hjarnan thing, you know? So I think that might be something we may be seeing in this second rotation there. And as you say, there is the Sett being picked up as well. Maybe a bit of a takeaway too from Rabble. He's going straight into the Kindred. I like that as a response.
I wonder if they'll go for something like the Vel'Koz, because that's what they did yesterday. I really like the Kindred pickup though. It's definitely a really good matchup with the Sett. But Zanzarah has the Sett again. Looks pretty strong.
And I just want to say as well, Kindred for a pick for Rabble. We have seen this guy get 3, 4, 5 levels ahead in the jungle. They prioritize him on these heavy kind of, farming junglers that you can just rocket ahead. They are going to go with the Jhin, though, for the bot side. That's almost certainly going to Hjarnan.
Yeah, but Hjarnan has also played it in the mid lane.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Even when Hjarnan gets to play traditional AD carry, he refuses to play it in the bot lane.
But I think Jhin mid into Orianna Sett might be a bit difficult.
Yeah, it might be a tad difficult.
I'm expecting something like a Galio out of Nite. Maybe perhaps a control mage would work really well in their comp, but that would be a well-rounded comp. And we haven't seen many well-rounded comps from GL. They like to go for some crazy picks, Rengar, stuff like this. So they have picked up their jungle AD carry on top, so it's just the mid supporter looking after the side of GL. But Rogue opted in for the Ezreal. It's a pretty strong draft by both teams so far, so I'm expecting some mad scientist side from GL a bit.
Little mad scientist coming up from GL, but of course for Go Rogue, we got to look at Czekolad. On this Orianna has a lot of playmaking potentials. Do you expect them to kind of, tried and tested setup for what they've always done, Kog'Maw? Really kind of going into really focus on Czekolad?
Yeah, Czekolad, he's been a really consistent factor. He's been scaling on the picks like the Cassio, like the Orianna. I think these champs are really strong in mid to late game fights. I think that's where Rogue really find their footing. I mean, Zanzarah gets them to the mid game, then the team fights are where they pop off. But I really like this ban from GL. I think Trymbi's been getting away with murder with this Rakan pick throughout the whole tournament. He's been getting out of lane phase for free, and he's been really carrying the team fights. I think Trymbi has been almost like an MVP performer on this champion, so it's a really good ban from the side of them. The Galio is banned out, which is something I expected Nite to play if it wasn't a control mage. So GL, they could throw another support ban here, something like a Leona, could help them a lot, but they're going to go for a Malphite ban, which is what we saw yesterday from them.
Yeah, Malphite was really strong yesterday when Phones was playing him. I like as you mentioned, the Rakan ban. I think Trymbi has been pretty much the unsung hero from Rogue. The way he makes plays on that team and sets up the rest of his teammates is really something special. And now with this Rakan taken away, where do you expect Rogue to really kind of take the support pick now?
I like the fact that they're last picking support. I think last picks, sort of counter pick supports are really valuable. So GL, they have to go for a blind pick support here. I'm expecting some kind of engage from Visdom.
Ooh, okay.
Is that an AP Kog'Maw mid? I think that's AP Kog'Maw mid.
Almost certainly. Going to be on tonight. First time we've seen it for the tournament.
That's crazy. I mean, I like the Tahm Kench pick. That stops the Sett Sion getting on your backline. I want to see more engage from Rogue. I want to see more team fights. I think Pyke could fit in. I think something like the Leona is kind of struggling in lane phase, so I can see why they're looking for something like that, because Tahm Kench normally countered by the range supports. It's a bit difficult to pull off a range support, but Bard is open, so that's a very good support. So, Rogue, good team fights. I think they have really good jungle support synergy going towards mid. and Nite is very immobile. So if he does lose flash against an Orianna, Sett the Bard, he's really going to struggle. But if he can get to 2 items, he's going to pop off.
Just a little quick stat for you there. Kog'Maw for Nite has only played it once in 2 years, and he did win on it. So it's definitely again
100% win rate, baby.
100% win rate, but it
Let's
is
go.
definitely a little bit of that spice that we were looking for from GamerLegion, Foxy.
Yeah, and I like the, you know, I'm always focused more towards the jungle matchups. I'm a bit biased in that sense, but you know, with the Kindred, I'm looking to see whether Rabble can be the Rabble that he was yesterday. He was really quite dominant in his semi-final matchup, and you know, Kindred into Sett, you do have that range advantage. But a lot of the jungle plays comes down to your solo laners as well. You know, and we see that AP Kog'Maw mid. We have the Ornn in the top lane too. Are you expecting to see Rabble kind of have his way with Zanzarah here, or would it be a bit different?
Yeah, I mean, Zanzarah has been showing so much early aggression, level 2, level 3. Rabble needs to kind of control that or match it. The only problem I have with Rabble in general with this pick is Orianna and Ezreal are 2 really long-range sort of hyper carries. When it gets to 2-3 items, they're basically poking you down in team fights, and if you walk too close to the fight, the shockwave will come out. So Rabble will struggle to get on their carries, but they have lots of front-to-back damage. The Jhin, not a huge tank killer, but the Kog'Maw and the Kindred are going to melt the tanks, and the Ornn is useful for shutting out Czekolad in the fights, but Woolite needs to dash around and try and find as much damage as he can.
Talk to me now, Foxy, about these kind of, you know, compositions, looking at GamerLegion, looking at Rogue. What are they both looking to do? What are they looking to try and set up? And where are we looking at them to kind of really push their advantages?
Well, obviously, it's a GamerLegion Rogue game, so you're starting right at level 1. Both teams thinking they have the advantage on that one. But obviously, you know, you got Tahm, Kench, you got Bard. They're both champions and can do stuff level 1, so not too surprised they're looking to scout out a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, I'd kind of just echo Caedrel's sentiment there when he was saying about the whole kind of team fighting comp that Rogue have is definitely something that plays into their strengths. We've seen a lot of it so far in EU Masters. And this level 1 is going to be a bit spicy. I think delayed invades have kind of been the story of playoffs so far. If we're looking at how teams have made success. And right here, GamerLegion are going for their own.
I think the worst part about this invade for the side of Rogue is they didn't have any info on this invade. They are question mark pinging now, Trymbi's coming down, so if he spots this out, this is going to be really big. The ward is going to spot it out, so Zanzarah has the info now. So now he's not going to walk to his blue buff and see it's gone. He's probably going to look to move into the top side and look for sort of a split map here. I mean, the split map's not really valuable for top side because it's tank versus tank. I don't think there's going to be any early dives there, so...
Ooh, did he see that though? I don't think he
I
saw
don't
it.
think he saw it. Nite level 1. Flash for flash. Good response there from Nite. Gets himself away, but does lose the summoner.
Yeah, that's big on AP Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw has like legit 0 mobility. You lose that flash, you're extremely vulnerable. Zanzarah now has a really, really easy time of things as far as what he wants to do this game. It's pretty simple. He's just going to look to punish that Kog'Maw and see if he can get a kill.
Rabble is moving to the top side here. He thinks he can stop Zanzarah taking away this blue. I think he's going to be a bit too late to it. He doesn't have mid push, he doesn't have top push, so he's going to get late to this blue, realize it's gone, but he will defend his Gromp. So if he is able to defend his Gromp, then he is going to have a 1-camp lead. Zanzarah kind of identifies that it's a bit risky to go for it, so Rabble, he can full clear to bot now. And this game basically gives Rogue's bot lane the go signal. We can push now. Although they don't have the info that Rabble's there, they don't have to be too scared, and the whole idea of the split map in the early prevents the Bard from roaming early. So it was beneficial for the side of GL. They did lose the flash on Nite, so if Rogue do get one wave of bot prior or Szygenda can move towards mid, Nite might be in trouble if his wave's in a bad spot.
And that's really important if you're able to kind of stop Trymbi from roaming around, because he has been a huge catalyst for Rogue in their success. And the way he moves around the map is nothing short of spectacular, really, honestly. This guy has been really, really solid. We saw it in the Sharks interview as well. He was mentioning how Trymbi will be a good fit even for LEC teams. And to be honest, I'd have a hard time disagreeing with him with the way that he's played so far in his tourney.
Yeah, definitely agree. The Ornn, the Bard, champions like this, he's been really popping off, not only on the roams, but in the fights. Rabble is going to lose this bot scrap here. Rogue do have the bot push. Nite is always going to be the push on the tower. I think Czekolad is always going to have the push now that Nite has no flash, and Rabble stacks spawn top side, so after this red, he's probably going to be looking to sprint towards it. Szygenda is moving down already, and oh, he just reset his red.
Reset the red, and this is what we kind of wanted to see from a Go Rogue, though, talking about it, you know, even in the pre-game, is that you need to put Rabble under pressure. You need to push him back to make sure he's not able to run away with the whole jungle in the early game.
Yeah, he's going to lose the top crab for resetting that red, but the problem Rabble has right now in this game is he has 3 lanes being pushed in. He had some bot push from the split map, but now that's gone after level 2. All 3 of his lanes are kind of under tower. He can't really get a crab this game, so Zanzarah kind of gets naturally ahead by this sort of advantage that he has based on his laners. Let's see how he snowballs it. Can he get early dragons? Can he get more flashes or even a kill on Nite?
And that's exacerbated by the fact that he's playing Kindred, who needs to get those marks early as well. The fact your marks are going to be hitting on crabs early, and if you can't pick up a single crab, like getting double crabbed, Oh, mate, I hate to see that as well. It's that's kind of the summary of the early game for Rabble. Just not quite going the way he wants it to.
And just, kind of looking at this, it is a final. This is the last game of the EU Masters. It's a best of 5. Fair enough, it's only game 1, but you can't really afford to have these little mistakes come into it. And Cage, I want to go to you. Like, does that pressure get to players, even if you are playing at home?
Yeah, I think just a few hiccups there from Rabble. I mean, he reset the red, he failed jump over the wall. Nothing to read into too much, but he does get the second Gromp of Zanzarah. Now, the second Gromp respawn is really big. He got the first, he got the second, so although he did get double crabbed, he managed to defend his Gromp, get the second Gromp for the side of Zanzarah, and he's in a good spot overall. I mean, it could be worse for having all these 3 of your lanes being pushed in. But now he's picked up the longsword, so let's see if he can get some vision for Nite just so he can play a little bit safer when his flash comes up.
So that's going to be my question here, because we've kind of passed the first phase of the game here, right? Where everyone's got their first recalls in, we got the resets out. What is kind of like the plan now, when you consider the fact that we're kind of equal on the side of both things? Like, where are you looking to attack the map, and is Dragon going to start playing into this for the jungle matchups especially?
Definitely. Early Dragon is Zanzarah is moving to bot side. They have one wave of mid prio, so you can see Nite's pinging missing on mid. I think GL might have to look for some flashes away here. Zanzarah is in a good spot.
Yeah, Zanzarah get exhausted, but it's a good knockback in to get the stun. They do use the Devour, but first blood goes to Woolite. TP coming out here as Phonesdale has to get himself immediately out of there. Great roam down from the mid lane of Rogue to get themselves first blood.
Now, this all kind of comes down to top wave. Is top wave in a good spot for GL or Rogue? I mean, both top laners have TP'd. Szygenda TP'd to catch the mid wave that Czekolad lost in that roam, and they lost the flash, no flash on the side of bot lane. So, first blood for Rogue, first blood for Woolite, and they have 2 carries with tier. So, it kind of depends on the top wave here who loses. If Rogue's wave's pushing into GL, they won't lose too much gold. But if the wave's pushing into the side of Rogue, then GL's losing a lot here.
It looks like it's relatively equal for now. And that is going to be the first dragon going over as well to Rogue. Second dragon spawning will be Ocean, so we'll be seeing a Cloud or a Mountain Soul in this game. Oh, no. And yeah, that's... Oof.
It's a lot of CS going to go over to the side, or go away from the side of Phones, as you can see it pushing in. And like you said, you wanted to know what the way the state of the lane was in. And unfortunately, though, for the Sion here, he has got a Bambi Cinder, so it's nigh impossible for him to hold it as such, but should be able to keep that advantage. He didn't lose anything from his TP. If anything, he just gained extra CS in the mid lane. Overall, it still feels like Rogue on top as Trymbi with the magical journey pushed everyone from the side of GamerLegion back into their own jungle. It feels like Rogue just feel more comfortable right now.
They just don't have any options. I mean, they have 3 lanes being pushed in. They can never really move in. And if we look at the replay here, Czekolad gets 1 wave of mid prio. Zanzarah hex flashes over the wall into the tri-bush, and GL, they need to crash this wave, but it looks like they're a bit out of position. Zanzarah plays it really well. He gets a double stun. Phone tries to TP on the trap to make it sort of a 3v3, but then Czekolad comes in, and yeah, that's it. He can't really do anything now. He's turned up too late.
My question in this scenario really is, like, shouldn't GamerLegion have really been expecting something like this? I mean, you don't have vision on the enemy jungler. You know it's a Sett who's got a Hex Flash, because every Sett takes Hex Flash. And the enemy mid laner just went missing. You're trying to crash a wave. That seems a little bit greedy, honestly, from the side of GamerLegion. But either way, they were punished for it, and Woolite does pick up that first blood. And now we're seeing those cheeky little lane swaps come in with that dragon being dead. On the bot side, there's no real punishment here for moving your bot lane up to the top. And will we be seeing some kind of like Herald priority at this point?
Yeah, that's exactly why GL moved up to the top side. I think GL, they couldn't really get any bot wave push after that gank there. Visdom did die. They lost a flash in a skirmish afterwards. So they just maybe lost a wave bot. You can see on the CS, they ran top just to make sure that they're reactive. Phones doesn't have TP, so I'm expecting him to push in this bot wave and move towards the top side. But the problem I have with GL's comp is it's so hard to face check. You don't have any face check if you don't have Phones with you, because if Visdom walks in with no flash, he's probably going to die. And Woolite, he's got the man immune, he got the first blood, so then Ezreal and Orianna double tier, and you've got a kill on the side of Rogue as well on the first blood, so they're in a good spot. The only problem is Szygenda's losing bot waves here, so Rogue are fully committing to this Herald, so GL can either send Phones up to contest it or just give some platings to him and drop the Herald.
Looks like this is going to be platings for Heralds. Kind of an equal trade overall. You're kind of trading, plates now for plates later. Gold in your pockets. Plus an extra little 100 there for Zanzarah, but they're going to give it straight to Czekolad. And Foxy, this just feeds into what we talked about so much yesterday and today on the desk. They just give everything they physically can to Czekolad in the mid lane. Make sure he's just as comfortable as can be.
And he rewards them for it. Even though he's playing Orianna, you might think he's more of like a role player with this pick. More of a team pickup here with that, but he doesn't play Orianna like that. Despite the fact that he is able to still have the highest assists out of any mid, he still also has one of the highest damage shares. And the fact that you give Herald over to him, as you're saying, is almost like quite funneling him, but you're still getting as much gold over to him as possible. And That's going to be something that we can see looking forward here, because these gold totals are quite equal as we go right now, but slight advantages on the carries of Rogue, and that might be something that kind of expands as we get a little bit forward here, especially with that Rift Help.
I think what's interesting about the map state is Rabble's bot side. He's picking up his stack. He's left his bot lane sort of on an island here. They are 2v2 on the top side. Zanzarah's up there, but Czekolad doesn't have TP, neither does Szygenda. So Rabble is going to get away with this. He's going to pick up a lot of camps. So the main thing here is the Kindred's getting ahead. So good play from Rabble. He identified that if he's top side and his top lane's getting pushed in, there's not much he can really do. And the Herald being on Czekolad kind of gives away where the Herald's going. It's going to go mid, so if they ever have one big wave stacking or they have side waves moving, they know when the Herald's going to be used.
So talk to me now through GamerLegion. What are they waiting for? Where are they strongest, and what can we expect to see from them in the next, say, 10 to 15 minutes?
Well, I don't think they have much options in general. It feels like all their waves are being pushed in. They don't have the Herald either, so their win condition in this early game is Rabble. There's a Drake spawning in 1 minute, so there might be a fight around that. But if they can stop this Herald, stop Czekolad from getting too many plates, and just get a good dragon setup, try to get early Drake so that you don't struggle on later on, and Rabble gets some items and they're in a good spot. But Czekolad has another wave mid price going topside.
Yeah, you talked about that island as they jump in, as Visdom gets knocked back and stunned up. Will he go down? Yes, just about. They are going to drop Hjarnan down into the Bard ultimate, and that's a double kill for Czekolad.
Yeah, he had one wave mid prio, he has the Herald, he could drop it here if he wants, but he is going to base. I mean, that's the thing I said earlier, right? They're left on an island. Rabble's farming bot camps. He did base and run towards the top side eventually, but he's just too late, and that's what happens if you're a jungler and you leave your bot lane alone on the top side of the map in a 2v3.
So what you're saying is, even though jungle's on the opposite side of the map, it's still jungle diff.
It's still jungle diff.
Always jungle diff. Bottom line, always jungle diff. Plus, I mean, honestly, the fact that you've drafted a Kog'Maw for the mid lane, it's not really a pick that leaves mid a lot during the lane phase. So Czekolad here, able to get that pressure off, able to get that roam, and that's a really, really good dive for Rogue. Setting them up 3 kills here, and you can see the kills are exactly where you want them. You've got 2 kills on that mid laner with Czekolad, and you've got 1 kill and an assist over to Woolite as well.
And he still has the Herald, right? So he's got some more gold in the pocket if he needs it. I mean, Nite, he has a little bit of a CS lead just because Czekolad, he did gank bot, now he's gone for the top dive. Dragon spawned, so Szygenda has TP up, but Rabble's going for an aggressive stack here.
Ooh, Rabble, need to be so damn careful.
Oh my god, he's
Cosmic Binding is still available. They're just waiting for a little bit of a... As there is the showstopper to really just put Rabble further and further into the jungle. And Rogue, honestly, right now, Rogue are just playing this perfectly.
Further into the jungle and further into the dirt. He's going to spend 20 seconds contemplating his sins right there. And that is the dragon up as well, right? I'm not quite sure if Rogue want to quickly transition into this dragon take, but honestly, it's a pretty good time to do so when you've got the enemy jungler dead.
He was just too aggressive. He had no vision.
And the Herald. He didn't even get the mark, did he?
No, yeah.
God,
I mean,
that's painful.
He had no vision, no prios. He just went for it thinking, well, I need this. I mean, he's been playing well around getting a camp advantage, but the whole map's kind of falling apart for GL here. Like I said, all 3 lanes are still kind of being pushed in. I mean, RGO, Trymbi, and just Zanzarah just roaming around the map so well together, and that's going to be a second dragon. It is Infernal in Ocean, as Nite gets ulted here.
There's a Shockwave landing on top of Nite. Has got his flash available using the phase rush! Just enough to be able to get himself away. Czekolad trading flash for flash, but global objectives, turret plate, CS, the picks, everything just feels like it's going in favor of Rogue. As Trymbi, he's going straight in and he's going to immediately jump in, but he can use the Lamb's Respite to keep himself alive, and he went too quickly. Ends up being a 1-for-1. GamerLegion finally picking up their first kill of the game.
That was aggressive. I really like that from Trymbi. Tried to get the Bard ult, Nite has no flash, and that was really well played. Czekolad, I mean, he's pushing in the mid wave for Drake here, but Nite steps up, he tries to punish it, Szygenda's there, Trymbi immediately starts moving as soon as he sees the fight, and Nite does react in time to the flash Q from the side of Czekolad, and he tries to catch the wave thinking he's safe. Trymbi just about misses the ult. Szygenda's there for the kill, but Trymbi wants it, he goes in for it, and then you can see a bit of questioning here. He does put the portal to come out.
Okay, that was a lot closer than it looked.
It was pretty close.
That was really, really close right there. And the fact that Trymbi, by the way, he doesn't have Ignite. He's got flash heal. So he still went for that play, despite not having that aggressive summoner. Nothing can hold him down. And, you know, it's really scary, honestly, when you're playing against a team like Rogue. I'm sure you're mostly on the delivering side of this here, Kajal, because you're never put on the back foot when you play professional League of Legends. You're just that good.
Wow, the compliment.
Apart from the last 2 weeks of playing.
I knew there was an if. I knew there was a bug coming in.
But isn't it just so hard to play against that kind of style where they're always just like walking forward and they doesn't afraid of anything?
Oh, now to see if they're actually going to be not afraid of anything, as Szygenda was not afraid for a little bit. It's still a very, very tanky.
Rabble has an ult.
Rabble hasn't not got ult. They do not land the stun, though, with the face breaker. They are going to use the showstopper to try and get phones back into the team. Nobody else is around. Pretty quick kill to turn around and go rogue. Back to the usual setup of this game.
I mean, what options did GL have? If Nite never has flash, he can never push, and if he can never push, he can never roam. So RGO just kind of dominate the map. Zanzarah is getting deep vision. Look at the vision on the minimap. Rogue just have deep vision everywhere on both sides of the map, and they can do whatever they want. Trymbi's unleashed with this counter pick support. They did get a split map on level 2. They did get a split map, but they didn't get the push. And then level 3, level 4, they started having the push. Trymbi's moving around the map with Zanzarah, and there, I mean, they tried to collapse on Szygenda, they don't have any damage, and then Rabble has to flash away with no ult, and Rogue just punish it again. These oversteps from GL, you can't walk into River versus this comp.
So what is the remedy for this right here, though? Because I don't think Rogue necessarily scale poorly, right? So having this stage of the game not go in your favor, it's like, sure, GamerLegion aren't necessarily drafting to dominate in this stage either, but you have to break something at some point. You can't let the game keep going on like this. What is it that GamerLegion need to do to make that happen?
To be honest, Foxdrop, it's a bit of a diffy in the driffy right now. I'd say with that Tahm Kench Kog'Maw pick, RGO played really well around shutting down Nite's flash, and Visdom with the Tahm Kench has kind of been on the tower all game. So now that they're on the back foot, they have been losing platings across the map. They haven't lost the tower yet, but this Herald will secure either mid or side lane tower. So, I mean, in terms of options, they have phones with the ult to engage. Hjarnan can pull out the curtain call, and Nite has a lot of poke too, but I mean, RGO, they just have such long-range carries as well, so it feels like Rabble, Hjarnan, it feels so difficult for them to be able to hit. I mean, the only real targets they have is Zanzarah and Szygenda. I mean, they could try to punish something on the side lane, but Szygenda, if he plays it smart, if he plays it safe, I don't think they can catch him out.
And even just looking at this, like for GamerLegion as a whole, as a tournament, this has been a long tournament for them. They're the number 3 seed coming in from the dark region. They've had to play endlessly amount more games as such, and all of their games have gone the full distance in terms of playoffs. Whereas you look on the side of a Go Rogue, they've literally 2-0'd every single person on the way up. So it feels just like, you know, you are kind of running out of steam when you've played such crazy strats and you've played such crazy things over and over. It kind of becomes predictable.
And I do wonder, you know, from the Ultra League perspective as well, with Rogue going up against GamerLegion right now, you must be feeling pretty confident. You're ahead in this game 1. And if we look back at the Ultra League and what they've been able to achieve at EU Masters, they got finals in 2018 spring. They got finals in 2020 spring as well, so previous EU Masters. But they didn't take a game in either series. They've got 0 wins in the finals. So if you're looking to set yourself up, you know, you're winning this game 1, already your favors are turning, and you know, this could be something where Rogue, who are looking really, really dominant, the first game could kind of be the story of the series.
They are looking really dominant. I think GL's gonna lose all tier 1s here is Zanzarah.
He should be fine. Phase rush is there. They are going to use the curtain call. There's the call of the Forge God. Does catch out Czekolad. They are fairly far away from him. However, the missile barrage is coming out from Nite on the backside, and they do get Woolite's TP. So overall, not a bad trade, but you gain a TP, you lose a tower as Rogue. It just feels like they're comfortable. 3,000 gold ahead at the 17.5-minute mark, and even when GamerLegion tries something, there's not really any engage on this team.
I mean, you saw the curtain call, you saw the Ornn ult come out, but they just didn't have enough.
There it is, the flash in with the shockwave, but it's going to be a full-out brawl as Woolite has to go out as well. He's flashed, and they use the heal from the side of Trymbi as well, but there is the shutdown coming down. The Czekolad goes onto the perfect person as the Rams left by does keep Nite and Rabble there. In this fight is Trymbi just being peppered down by this Kog'Maw. Overall, still a 1-for-1 trade. As you can see here, Hjarnan has nowhere to go and is in no man's land. Sitting on the back of this one. There's the showstopper to start it all off again. Great face breaker as well into the haymaker. Rabble goes down. Zanzarah will survive, and thank you for the dragon. They're just going to turn it straight into this. They haven't really got the mana nor the health. They're trying to fight against this. I don't know if this is a smart call right now.
Nite
They're going to turn the no mana on Nite. There's the tempered fate as Woolite kills off the Ornn. And this has all gone bad to worse. Czekolad dies. He TPs back in. And they're forcing the Nite flash again. Going for him. It doesn't matter about the tower. He's dead. And overall, Rogue dominating in this one once and for all. It looks like Ultra Liga may be on the cusp of an EU Masters title.
Okay, we're 18 minutes into game 1, BP. I agree with you. Holy crap, what a fight. And I think, you know, this is absolutely insane and textbook Rogue right here. It started off crazy, like pretty equal, but still very back and forth, and then Rogue just really putting it out right there. This is the explosiveness of this Rogue team, and it's something that we've seen time and time again throughout EU Masters. We're seeing it here, and I guarantee you in this best of 5, we'll be seeing those kind of fights. Plenty of times we're going to get some spicy action in the series.
The fight never ends. It was just a non-stop fight. I mean, GL kind of had to go for it. They lost all their tier 1s as they were setting up for the 3rd dragon, but Rogue, they have the 3rd dragon now. It is Cloud Soul. I mean, it kind of benefits their comp pretty well when you've got Sion, Orianna, as Sett. These champs really benefit from the Cloud Soul. So GL, they're in a bit of a bad spot. I think they're 4k gold down. Nite did pick up a shutdown in that fight, so he has got the Seraphs. He's going towards the Leandries. I mean, you could kind of see glimpses of how GL can win the fights. They were poking them down. They did kind of punish the mistakes from Rogue going too deep, and they need to poke them down. That's the only way they can really do it. The Curtain Call, the Kog'Maw, this is what you're drafting. This is just full poke. You need to make sure that the fight starts when Rogue's carries are just kind of out of it.
The question is though, like, if you put your eggs in the poke basket, you're playing against pretty good engage. You know, you've got the Sion, you've got Bard, even Zanzarah right here. Speaking of engages.
And that's it. Doesn't hit. They don't gain anything out of it as we go with a showstopper straight onto the back line. There's Hjarnan trying to use the curtain call as Rabble picks up Zanzarah. They have got themselves a Lamb's Respite, but it's not long enough as Phones goes down. It's Woolite for the double kill. Hjarnan is nowhere near this. It's a 4v5 effectively until he comes back in here, but it does not matter. They take the tower. They can look for more kills. It just looks disjointed from GamerLegion. They look like they don't know if they're coming, they're going, they're looking for something, and Rogue just feel like the better team right now.
Rogue is online. Their carries are just popping off in the fight. GL got some poke down. The Ornn came in, but Trymbi with the portal just kind of saved it. And Woolite, although Czekolad was getting hit by the curtain call, he was untouched. He was just murdering the front line. He has 2 items and a half. And if we look at this replay here, I mean, Rogue do get kind of poked out. They do use the Ornn ult. I mean, Hjarnan's kind of out of position in this. It's sort of a 4v5 engage. The poke comes on to Czekolad, but watch Woolite in this fight. Although Czekolad's kind of struggling, Zanzarah does go down for the front line, but Woolite kind of is the front line here. Him and Szygenda just dashing in. He does pick up a double kill, and from there, it's just a one fight.
Yeah, Woolite with his frontline memes, this is where it really just like, this is the strength of Woolite. This is how this guy gets like 50% damage share in his games, which is not far from what he's been able to achieve in the playoffs. He's really, really solid. Like, he's not afraid to jump forward and really punish enemy teams, and this is it. If you're playing from ahead, it's absolutely sublime, and Woolite really just bringing in the death knell for GamerLegion in that fight.
So what do GamerLegion have to do right now? We talked about it's a poke comp. We talked about how they're kind of like waiting for those big poke items to kind of come in for the Kog'Maw, for the Jhin as well. Where are you looking for them to kind of, how do they stall this game? Because you're looking at Soul Point. We didn't even touch on that. They're 1 dragon away from Soul Point, and they're on Baron as well. What do you do?
They're starting up the Baron and Hjarnan's bot, so I think this Baron's pretty much gone. They've got so much damage for it. Woolite is 3,000 gold ahead of Hjarnan. He's 2 levels up, maybe even 3 after this Baron, who knows? I mean, he's got the Death Stance. You can't really poke this man out anymore, so Rogue, they have the front line, they have the scaling, they have the items they need and the gold advantage, and GL, they need to pull something out. They need to pull out some magic, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need some magic. I'm not quite sure that Krug camp has the magic in it, but at least Hjarnan did pick that one up. Kind of just getting the scraps of what you can at this point. Like, I mean, he is a bot side, and you think, oh, well, why are you bot side? Now we can't contest Baron. Could you contest Baron anyway? Probably not, honestly, especially with the ability to turn and pull the trigger that Rogue has. It's just kind of a rock on a hard place right here. Speaking of Nite, you're in trouble, buddy.
Oh, they are going to use the Tempered Fate and the Unstoppable Onslaught. There is Visdom here, and they maybe have to get a fair bit of damage. The TPs come in. Rabble's here. Phones is here. That's a good pick coming in, and they have got Trymbi on the backside as who's forced to flash. They are still chasing him. Flash forward by Rabble. 2 quick kills going over to the side of GamerLegion, but their base is being torn apart. They are going to sacrifice at minimum an inhibitor. They may not be able to get back in time. They may have to give up 2.
I mean, that's just how you come back into these games, I guess. If you don't have any win conditions in terms of progressing the game or coming back, then just play on the enemy mistakes. I think Szygenda just went way too deep there. Nite didn't have flash, but Woolite had the TP, Czekolad had the TP, but they didn't want a TP and they wanted to keep pushing. So I think that was just a bit of miscommunication from the side of Rogue there. Trymbi and Szygenda, they went in. Czekolad and Woolite, they kept pushing. So that's how you come back in these games. Just look for mistakes and they punish them really well.
Oh,
Nite just spawned.
Being flashed on top of. There is the shockwave onto 2. You can only save 1. Tahm Kench as he jumps straight down and dunks him into the ground. Rabble, surprise!
It's a one-shot.
It's a Sion! down, coming over to on the back end of the Dragon Pit as Visdom goes down. And this game is all but over right now as Rogue, they don't even matter about the Dragon. They can just push in for mid.
GamerLegion saw their opportunity.
Oh,
they
no.
tried to go for that Dragon. It wasn't happening. Rogue are just too far ahead. And right here, Woolite chasing down Hjarnan. Hjarnan's going to escape with his flash, but he might only be able to preserve his KDA, and unfortunately, probably not the Nexus.
Yeah, the game looks pretty much over here. Uses the bow special there to get the 2 towers, and I think this is just kind of a draft difference. To be honest, I think GL just don't have many options. If you have 3 lanes being pushed in with an early kind of winning jungle matchup which you can't use, and then you have nothing to play for, then it's just over.
Domination is the word that comes into my head when I look at that game. That was clinical textbook. You can do whatever the hell you want, GamerLegion. We have answers for it all. That was just, honestly, just looked like they were just outdrafted, outplayed, out everything.
Well, LDLC also did win Game 1 against GamerLegion
That's true.
in their series. So if you're a
They're competent.
GamerLegion fan, it's not all donezo. I mean, it's best of 5 and that's Game 1, despite you calling the win at 18 minutes there for the Ultra
I
League.
just calls them like I sees them.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the hype is real. It really is. Rogue looked really good at that game.
All right, go Rogue, take Game 1. In our first best of 5 series tonight, we'll talk more about that game after the break.
This is the golden age of the Prime League. It's the only European regional league with multiple title contenders each split. This doesn't just sound good on paper, it makes the Prime League the most competitive national league out there. Even though the Prime League allows its players to live the life of a professional League of Legends player, they all still share the same goal: to make it to the LEC. That goal is completely within reach. Over the past year, more than 10 players managed to make the leap to Europe's highest league. The Fires of Prime League didn't just forge the likes of LEC Rookie of the Split Labrov. Even All-Pro team members Kaiser and Shadow started their careers in the DACH region and have now made it to Worlds. With names like these coming up, you can rightfully call it the breeding ground for the rising European stars of tomorrow. Yet it still has its own established stars. Tolkien has been playing professionally for a few years, but only unlocked his full potential this very season. Known for his good laning, constant solo kills, as well as a positive attitude towards any given situation, he is the shining light of Mouse Sports top lane. During the Prime League playoffs, he earned the unofficial title of the CEO of playoffs, and in the ongoing EU Masters tournament, keeps on proving why. It's players like him that ensure the Prime League is truly deserving of its name.
Running in for backup.
Yo, Ron, he's right there in front of you.
Sorry guys, it happened again.
Damn, that's one today.
All right, I'm back.
Someone cover me.
You got him, you got him. Yo, that's sweet.
Yeah, it is. We about to win this.
I can get used to this.
HyperX Alloy. Built strong because it has to be.
Now it seems you're caught up in the thrills right now, trying to pay your bills now, keeping you up all night. It's all about the money. It's all about the dum dum da da dum dum, dum dum da da dum dum, dum dum da da dum dum. It's all about the money. It's all about the dum dum da da dum dum, dum dum da da dum dum, dum dum da da dum dum. It's all about the money. It's all about the dum dum.
Welcome back to EU Masters. AGO Rogue opens up the score with a 1-0. Team GamerLegion gets taken down. And, well, let's be fair, it was a pretty one-sided match from my perspective here.
Yeah, and I think it started in the draft phase. I'm going to be honest, I think this was a bit of a draft kingdom from Rogue. They got everything they wanted. They had tank top jungle, they had Roman support, big backline carries they like to lean on. And I look at GL, and we know they like to play around Rabble, and that's why they took the Kindred. But where is the lane pressure? Because all 3 lanes were getting shoved in early, and it's like you cannot play Kindred without priority in lanes because you just don't get any assistance from your team.
Honestly, I really just want to sit on Nite for this specific game because he has been the shining star for GamerLegion. He has been the driving force for them. And now here on the Kog'Maw, I expected great things. Sure, the Kog'Maw doesn't necessarily use too much pressure in the early game, but here we can see that he's not respecting Fog of War. He knows his jungler is on the right side.
They even have vision on him.
He sees his jungler on the right side, but then Zanzarah was coming over from the other side, and he just did not respect that. Losing his flash is a big domino effect because it didn't allow Rabble to play the aggressive game that we know him to play because the Kog'Maw could just not fall around due to his lack of mobility. And just I want to be a little bit critical of Nite here. He is the shining star. He is the moving gear for GamerLegion. He needs to do better than this.
Yeah, and I feel like he needs to be challenged in this mid lane matchup. We actually have a clip showing what happens when Rabble tries to invade against a Go Rogue by himself, and it's not pretty. And this is what I kind of expected, and it's the big thing with Trymbi pairing up with Zanzarah. Rabble goes for an invade to get a stack, and he is matched. You can see mid lane moves as well, and there is no one from the side of GL to assist. And, you know, you can make criticisms about Rabble, but realistically, I think not having the pressure in lanes is going to force you into situations like this. You need those stacks, and he wasn't able to get them.
And in all honesty, this has been clean a Go Rogue from the start to the finish. Clean mid-game, wave setup, dive setup everywhere along the map. And this was one of these fights that was generated for that Dragon. Zanzarah played this to perfection. All this patience just to get that triple man shove in, and then they just completely disintegrate GamerLegion. I don't necessarily know why GamerLegion were going back in on this one. There's no mana on Nite. There's no way they could contest for that. Rogue knew that. They took their chance. They pushed all the way through. And it's going to be really funny. But again, I have not had Woolite the entire time. I've not seen him. He's gone invisible. Guess what? After this fight, 20 minutes in, he comes out 5-0-3. Gauntlet, Mana Moon, Death Stance. He's a mini boss. He pulls forward in all the fights. He plays frontline. No one can catch him. No one can tank all the damage. And again, where has he been? He's there. He's doing the most damage. No one sees it though.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons we talked about it prior to the game. He does like almost 40% of the damage for his team.
36.
Yeah, somewhere around that.
It's probably it's probably gone up after this game.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of damage. For the next game, GamerLegion chose blue side. Ox, what do you think needs to change up a bit, though? Because we've seen them on blue side now as well. It was a bit shaky, and I'd say that pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think blue side's a problem. I think your win condition is coming from Rabble. I want pressure in lanes. I don't care if it doesn't need to be all 3. I don't care about that, but you can't have 3 losing lanes. You need somewhere to play through and someone who can leave that lane to assist you. And the biggest one, the most success we've seen from GamerLegion is when Nite has pressure in mid lane, when he's playing things like the Lucian, like the Jace, and those picks don't sort of match up particularly well into an Orianna in the later stages, but they put so much pressure down early is the critical thing. And that's what I want. I want to see Rabble able to make those invades work because his teammates support him. So whatever happens in this draft phase, please give him some tools to work with.
Honestly, I feel this is a little bit of a classic GamerLegion. They always go shaky into the first draft, whether it's a best of 3, best of 1,
well,
exactly, or best of 5. The only thing that I didn't necessarily like is that we saw Hjarnan's card straight away. The magic of GamerLegion is not knowing where the pieces are going to end up in, and that makes it so hard to counterpick. Here we saw a Go Rogue not caring at all about what GamerLegion play because they have a certain composition, they pick that, it works for them. GamerLegion though need the spark, they need the magic, they need the flex picks. We need to see it on the second game.
AGO Rogue are currently leading the series 1-0. Let's see if GamerLegion has what it takes to bounce back. Game 2 is coming up right after the break.